and welcome back to My Main Stitches. This is Jeannie J. I'm so happy to be with you. It is taking some doing to be standing here on screen. I broke my toe a couple days after Christmas. Of all things, reaching in the refrigerator to get some leftovers, and a pie plate fell out, slipped out when I turned my head for just a split second. A pie plate of pecan pie slipped out and just broke my toe. It was a real freak accident. And my husband says my toe took one for the team because that pie plate was totally intact, as was the pie. So all that joking and kidding aside, I got a little sinus cold and a little achy toe going, but I'm so happy to be with you. I made my goal of 5 pajama pants in time for Christmas Eve exchange. Yay! We all had our pants that all had cuffs and pockets. That was the requirement for me. And then we matched that. My husband and I chose some nice stretchy fabric yoga t-shirts. And I just embroidered those with a personalized embroidering design on each of those t-shirts, having to do with follow your dreams or dream big, so it kind of matches the theme of pajama pants, and it all turned out really great. I'm going to share pics and a few of the main tips and things that I learned throughout the whole process. There was a lot, so I'm going to probably break this video up into a few videos just so we can get that information out in bite-sized pieces. But these tips and information are designed to help you make your pants better. Whether it's pajama pants or any pants, everybody's dealing with crotch curves and inseams, and we're all learning as we go. So stay tuned, and thanks for visiting. So the first thing I did with each pair of pajamas was to pull out the guide sheet, the tissue paper, pattern pieces, the fabric, and all the notions. And I laid everything out in front of me to just make sure, one, that I had everything I needed, and two, that I began to lay those items out in the order that I would need them. That way everything could go a lot more efficiently. And I highly suggest that for you and your projects. You gotta appreciate that, right? They made a point of saying thank you and letting us know that they made every effort to provide us with a high quality product. What I came to learn in trying several different patterns for this particular project, and making different patterns in the past, is that pattern makers make these to fit a very general body type. They just can't fit everyone. And the really great thing about the most simple patterns like these is that they don't have a lot of information or lines, or they have only the basics. And it's enough to not overwhelm the beginner student, and enough for the intermediate student to build upon what they have, to use what they have as a guide to tweak the pattern as needed. So kudos to Simplicity and all the greats that make these types of patterns for us and make our lives so much easier. That being said, I still have to laugh at myself a little bit because I am shorter than the average person, the average body type, and sometimes my pattern pieces come out like this. This is the leg, not of this particular pattern, but of another pattern. This is one leg that comes all the way up to my shoulders, and hey, that's a perfect opportunity to practice shortening the length adjustments. If you're just starting out with your serger, though I know that most beginner sewing students are not using sergers, but if you're just starting out with your sergers, I suggest using an index card and for each project making a serger profile. The serger profile would include all of the threads that you're going to be using for any particular stitch on your serger, and then lining those threads up so that they go onto your machine in the way that you want them to show up on your pants or your project. Each project will be different, but if you lay your threads out the same way as you lay out your notions and materials, it'll be easier to complete your project more efficiently. The pins out of the first pattern piece. Pins out, y'all. You know what that means? It's sew time. I'll take another video here and there as I go along, but the first thing I'm doing, and I'm going to put a link in the video description, is flat felled pockets. Just a reminder here to use your resources. I found some really great instructional videos for putting in inseam pockets that I'm going to include here in the description of this video. These flat felled pockets that you see here, as well as inseam pockets that I used, French seam pockets, French seam inseam pockets that I used on other pajamas, both turned out really well. So go ahead and remember to use your resources and use those videos. Pause and play as you see fit if you're more comfortable doing that than just following the written directions on your guide sheet. That's a great option to use. I am continuing on the journey that is comfort in the form of pajamas. So I'm still working on learning pants, and today I wanted to make a short video to tell you about the wonders of the flexible ruler. First of all, I have a thing for efficient, effective, accurate measuring equipment. Like I have a thing for rulers. I have way too many measurement utensils around here, but this one is one of my favorites because I've only recently discovered the joy that is flexible rulers. Let me tell you what I've done specifically with it recently. We all know that when we're learning how to do pants, one of the biggest things to master in pants is crotch curves. And learning to bespoke the pattern to our bodies can be a process. So what I did with this flexible ruler is literally I know it's so provocative, but these are my curves. And I use them, excuse my stain, I know, so classy. But I use this to take measurements from the crotch to the widest part of the hips. And then what we're really doing with the pattern is using that curve so that it'll be bespoke to my body. And then you really bring the pants pattern up vertical in a straight vertical line. And then the front curve, you know, that's my curve. I can get that curve accurate so I don't have this saggy crotch issue if I'm making these curves to be bespoke to my body. So I just wanted to share that real quick with you, the joy of flexible rulers in terms of helping you to get more accurate curve readings. So this fabric was my favorite fabric to work with. I just got the drawstrings in and I'm using these little ends on the drawstrings. I forget what you call these contraptions, but they're two pieces. It's an end cap for a shoestring basically. But in this case, drawstrings. This drawstring, I just put it on the ends of here to make it look like it matched the little eyelets that I used from that I put in the pants. But anyway, it's my favorite fabric. So one of my favorite things about this project was that my husband's t-shirt was a little different from us ladies. He had Dream Big on his. His letters that glowed in the dark were Dream Big. And then I also downloaded a Xbox controller for his t-shirt because he loves his Xbox. He's a gamer. And that made his t-shirt specialized for him. And then I did my daughter's. All of them had their special packaging and boxes and bows for Christmas Eve. But this is how my oldest daughter's package looked inside of the package. Good times.